the literature from different regions in the Philippines. In this lesson, we are going to discover and learn the magnificent texts and prolific authors from each region. Now, let us start with the representative texts and authors from Luzon. Paz Marquez Benitez. She was a Filipino short story writer, educator, editor, and was born in Lucena City, Quezon. She was among the first generation of Filipinos trained in the American education system, which used English as a medium of instruction. She authored the first Filipino modern English language short story, published in 1925, entitled The Dead Stars. The Dead Stars is a story of what if, as a married man, again meets the woman he fell in love with many years earlier while engaged to his wife. Merlinda Bobes. Merlinda is an award-winning writer that grew up in Albay, Philippines. She started off as a painter but grew into a writer because for her, painting with words was cheaper. One of her most well-known novels, entitled Banana Heart Summer, offers a feast for the senses and a tale of food and family. Bob's books, short stories, and poems tell of lesser-known aspects of Filipino life, often from a strong feminist stance. Jan Jack G. Wigley. He was born in Angeles City, Pampanga. He is currently a full-time professor teaching literature and film in University of Santo Tomas. He is also a creative non-fiction narrative writer and is known with his trademark wit, unique insight, and irrepressible humor that can be observed in his essay entitled Home of the Ashfall. Home of the Ashfall focuses on the author's experiences and insights during the eruption of Mount Pinatubo. Marcelino Agana Jr. He was a famous Filipino playwright. He won the first place in the Carlos Palanca Memorial Award for his most well-known comedy play in one act entitled New Yorker in Tondo. In this comedy play, humor and irony were showcased to present a realistic situation of Filipino life. New Yorker in Tondo describes what kind of life was there in Tondo and how was it living in New York, their culture and tradition, and how it relates the main character as well in the story, which also has implication in life. Angela Manalang Gloria. She was born in Guagua, Pampanga. She was a Filipino lyric poet who wrote in English. She authored the poem To the Man I Married. This poem metaphorically portrays the love of the speaker for her husband by comparing her need for him to her need for the earth. Now, let us explore the representative texts and authors from Visayas. John Irimil Chodoro, a Filipino writer, literary critic, and cultural scholar from Antique, Philippines. He is reflected to be a leading pioneer in Philippine gay literature and also the most published author in Kinaraya, a regional language spoken mainly in Antique. He wrote Unang Ulan ng Mayo, The First Rain of May, a full-length play in Filipino that won second place at the Don Carlos Palanca Memorial Awards for Literature. Unang Ulan ng Mayo is about the loss of innocence and discovery of the beauty of love and the pangs of truth as the main character falls in love with a man. Estrella Alfon. She was born in Cebu and was a prolific Filipina author. In spite of being a one proud Cebuana, she wrote almost exclusively in English. She has garnered a number of Palanca Awards. Her play with Patches of Many Hues won the first place for the one-act play category. Carlos Angeles. He was a Filipino poet born in Tacloban City in the year that poetry was first considered in the Carlos Palanca Memorial Awards for Literature. Angeles' collection of poems, A Stand of Jewels, bagged the first prize in the prestigious contest. This comprised of 47 poems dedicated to Angeles' wife that also won the Republic Cultural Heritage Award for Literature. Ricardo Dimitilio. He was born in Dumangas, Iloilo. Aside from being a poet, he was also an essayist and a playwright. Dimitilio was considered as one of the most prolific literary figures in the Philippines during the 20th century. He has won numerous awards in writing. He was the author of the collections of poetry entitled No Certain Weather in 1956. Ramon L. Mozones, a national artist of the Philippines and a Hiligaynon poet, essayist, short story writer, and novelist. One of his notable works was entitled Women Against the World. He brought a radical change by his numerous works representing feminism. His writings in the vernacular language excelled the most. Thus, his novels written in pure Ilonggo involved a national acclaim, and he was cited as an outstanding awardee of the Writers' Union of the Philippines and received its Literary Achievement Award. Now, let us discover the fascinating text and authors from Mindanao. Rema Polotan Tovera. She was born in Hulusulu. She was raised by her father, who was a military officer frequently assigned to different parts of the country. In line with this, she went to various provinces for her schooling. Her novel, The Hand of the Enemy, won the Stonehill Award for Filipino Novel in English category. Her other short stories have also won the Palanca Memorial Awards. The Hand of the Enemy is a story of a woman who realized she has to struggle as a daughter, a mother, and a wife. She longed for her father's affection and attention, but her father had been too distant with her. Ida Rivera Ford. Ida was born in Hulusulu. She was the editor of a literary magazine in Silliman University. She established the first School of Fine Arts in Mindanao, the Learning of the Arts now known as the Ford Academy of the Arts. She also won internationally at the University of Michigan for her short story entitled The Chiefest Mourner for the prestigious Hoopworth Award, a major scholarship program that offers prizes to the aspiring writers at the said university. The Chiefest Mourner is about a conflict between the married couple. This shows the loyalty and pure love of mistress to the poet, which makes her even more deserving to be the chiefest mourner when the poet died than the legal wife. Egmedeo Alvarez Enriquez, a short story writer and novelist born in Zamboanga City. He started writing at the age of 20, and his stories began to be known and appear in countless publications, such as his famous work entitled The Doll. The Doll was a beautiful story with an influential and powerful message for the parents of the world. It exposes the shallowness of the culture of machismo fostered on the people of the area by their colonial masters. Jan Bengan, a modern fictional writer, UP Mindanao alumnus and assistant professor at the University of the Philippines in Mindanao. He wrote the short story Armor that won the English Carlos Palanca Memorial Literary Awards. As a result, English creative writing program was being strengthened in UP Mindanao. Armor has dominant touches of an LGBT-themed short story that focus on the main character's Ronnie, experience as a gay man who seemingly dress feminine, joins pageants and attracted to men. Jamie N. Lim. He was born in Cagayan de Oro City. He garnered recognitions from the Carlos Palanca Memorial Awards. His most famous work, entitled The Axolotl Colony, was awarded a first place for short story in 1993. This story explores the concept of separation and the slow death of love and takes on the perspective of the character and his struggle to survive a divorce after his wife cheated on him. These prolific authors and their magnificent works came from the bountiful regions in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. We are proud to say that Philippine literature has a very rich history stored in every region in our country and is meant to teach, enlighten, and inspire the generation of the 21st century. The representative text and authors from different regions in the Philippines references.